sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Nanya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support you will shower me here. You are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about why people are saying. I mean, the white Democrats and white progressives, they are always like they're basically telling black people that if you do not get it together and vote for Biden in the next coming election, and if Trump wins, we are gonna blame you people for that. Why is it that every election year they come out to fearmonger black people? They want black people to probably vote out of fear and all that. But trust me, you all know that white supremacists cannot be reformed. And black people are looking for a reform government that will benefit them, because that reparation is long overdue. And I am of the opinion that if we eventually find a candidate that supports black people, that have got the black interest at heart and is willing to pay reparations, why not? I am sure that that will be a great one. So now a lot of people are having double thoughts, especially on Joe Biden, because of what is going on all over the world, the Congo, the Sudan, the Palestine, and some other countries and all that. And you all already know Trump. Trump wants to make America great, and which America was never great for my people. So I am of the opinion that if there is someone that can make my people's life better, we are going for it. But for now, I am not endorsing or saying anything about any person. Let's get into this video.
You know, I keep seeing people on social media, especially those who are very, very far left, saying this.
I voted for Biden in 2020. I have never liked him. And when I first heard that he was going to be the Democratic candidate, I said that I wasn't going to vote in 2020, but I felt like it was important, and I felt like he was the lesser of two evils. And I still feel that. But after today, I cannot imagine voting for him in 2024. Because at this point, the lesser of two evils for whom?
Yeah, this whole I'm not going to vote for Biden in 2024 is maybe one of the most selfish and insane strategies I've ever seen in politics. But look, if Donald Trump wins, I want every single person who went on social media and said things like this and encouraged their followers not to vote to do a couple things for me. Go to every single family who lost a child in a mass shooting and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for Biden, even though he passed the first piece of major gun legislation in over 30 years, and I let Trump win. Go to the little girls, the teenagers in Republican states who were assaulted and had to have their assaulter's baby and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for Joe Biden, even though he's appointed pro-choice judges every single opportunity he's had, and I let Donald Trump, the guy who overturned Roe v. Wade, win the presidency. Go to coastal towns around the country, especially where people are suffering from climate change, and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for President Biden, who invested the most in fighting climate change ever. I let Donald Trump and his pro-fossil fuel agenda win. And then go to the seniors on Medicare who now have their insulin capped at $35 a month because of President Biden, and tell them, yeah, I didn't vote for President Biden, even though he passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which did that, and now Donald Trump is going to come into office and undo all of that progress. Oh, and go to all the veterans who are exposed to toxic burn pits while serving abroad, who now have more health care because of President Biden's PACT Act, and tell them, yeah, Biden expanded your health care, but I didn't vote for him, and now Trump is going to undo that. Oh, and finally, go to all of the Muslim Americans who are going to be deported under Donald Trump's new Muslim ban that he's been talking about in the past couple of days and say, yeah, I could have kept you guys here by voting for President Biden, but I didn't. I didn't vote at all, and Donald Trump got into office, and now he's deporting all of you guys. So sorry. So genuinely, for this far-left coalition of people who are like, I'm not going to vote for Biden in 2024, if Trump wins, you will be part of the reason why. You will be part of the reason why, and you'll have to answer to all of the people who were affected by Trump's win and his terrible policy that he's going to implement.
For the white Democrats and white progressives who are basically telling black people, well, if you blacks don't get it together and vote for Biden, if Trump wins, we're just going to blame you. You're to blame. Y'all do that every election year. Y'all might as well just come out and say, you blackies better get it together and keep this establishment going so that I can stay comfortable, because you know what we could do to you. That's not going to work on us anymore. Once again, y'all don't really want to dismantle the system, you want to reform it. But y'all fail to understand that white supremacy cannot be reformed. And because that y'all know that y'all still benefit from this system because of your whiteness, you want to tell black and brown folks to vote for Biden to keep you comfortable. Y'all really don't care about black and brown folks dying, to be honest, because if y'all did, y'all would be trying to dismantle the system. A lot of the most marginalized have not felt any changes under Obama, under Trump, and under Biden. And that's why I see liberals and conservatives as the same, because liberals are just not radical enough for me. Y'all don't hate white supremacy enough for me. And this is why I do not trust y'all. So if Trump wins, the most marginalized folks are going to do what we've always been doing, living our lives on the margin, going through a never-ending Project 2025, still witnessing lynchings in 2023, still witnessing Jim Crow in 2023. Roe v. Wade is gone. The wall is still being built. Cop cities being built. But since the fascism is going to affect y'all and your whiteness, now y'all are in distress. So you're either going to dismantle the system that y'all benefit from, or just shut the fuck up. Keep it cute or keep it mute.
The lesser of two evils for whom?
I find the sort of browbeating that liberals keep trying to give leftists about voting for a genocide supporter in 2024 to be really funny. Because just from a purely logical standpoint, the idea that you are going to bully a huge portion of the Democratic base into voting for a guy that they do not want to vote for, instead of, I don't know, using the arms of democracy to either find a new candidate who does not have these glaring issues in their campaign, or bully the person that you already want to win into becoming a better candidate. It is hundreds of thousands of people that you are now trying to convince to vote for a guy who does genocide, rather than just telling the singular guy, hey, you're the leader of the free world. Can you stop supporting genocide? You can feel however the fuck you want about it. You can feel like we're selfish. You can feel like we are idiots or dumb. The reality is that if you want to depend on this strategy to win your elections, you are going to lose. So accept that reality and let's move on to start changing the system.
I'm not voting for Biden, no matter what. Okay, so what's your plan?
Ooh, black and brown people already have the answer. By organizing to structurally shift this country away from white supremacy in bigger ways than only focusing on voting and only focusing on shifting our system from a two-party to multi-party system. And that's by doing things like organizing to stop Cop City in Atlanta, and frankly, the numerous liberation movements led in this country by black and brown folks. The problem is, when black and brown people organize to shift this country away from white supremacy, our communities quite literally get bombed, like in 1985 when the entire city of Philadelphia was bombed because the United States wanted to take out a couple of members of black liberation movements, and more recently when the folks who've been organizing to stop Cop City have been labeled as terrorists. So as a white person who wants to be a part of the solution, the best thing you can do is talk to the brown and black people who are already doing this work to find out how your privilege can best be used.
I don't think Joe Biden's going to win the next election regardless of what we do. And I'm not saying that because I'm a pessimist. I'm saying that because I think we need to look at the situation realistically and plan accordingly so we're not shocked come next November. I'm also not saying this because I'm chronically online and I'm letting all of the jibber jabber that I hear online influence me. I'm actually saying it because I'm not. I teach, and in the spaces that I teach in, I'm in contact with a relatively diverse group of people in about that age range, 18 to 35-ish in a day. You'd be surprised just how many are disengaged not only from the political side of social media, but from social media entirely. With all love, when I talk to them, they might not know the latest slang or the latest trends or what's happening in Palestine right now, but they do know what's happening in their personal lives, and they are not happy and have expressed they're unlikely to vote for Biden again. He's losing the youth vote and the diverse vote, and with no social media to reel them back in, I don't know if he can get them back, and they were pivotal in the last election. It's going to be a hard sell to get Biden back in office, even if we do the whole vote blue no matter who thing again. So when people express their disenchantment with Joe Biden online, y'all don't have to say, well, who are we going to let win, a Republican? Because there is a good chance one's going to win anyway, and we have to face that. So instead of letting what's happening now continue to happen, where people are like, I'm going to do a write-in, I'm not going to vote, I'm going to vote third party, and splitting the vote even further, it's better that we unify think of a plan and try to execute that, as opposed to letting what's already happened happen. That's impossible if you shut down every single conversation with, well, what are we going to do? Let a Republican win? We have to address the fact that there is a good chance they're going to win anyway. So what can we do to avoid that besides shut up every single conversation about it?
Okay, I need all my creators to come to the front. I want y'all to listen to this. Hold on.
I voted for Biden in 2020. I have never liked him, and when I first heard that he was going to be the Democratic candidate, I said that I wasn't going to vote in 2020, but I felt like it was important, and I felt like he was the lesser of two evils. And I still feel that. But after today, I cannot imagine voting for him in 2024.
We will not vote in 2024. This message is for Joe Biden. You've already lost. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. My generation is going to make sure that doesn't happen.
If the Democratic Party is not seeing these numbers and are still acting delusional, they cannot complain when they...
Now, see, the problem with every single one of these creators and what they are pushing is the fact that they are telling their followers to do not vote, that they're not going to vote because they don't want to vote for Biden and da-da-da. And I get that. I get it. But what you are pushing is even more dangerous. Go look up, hit that search bar and type in Project 2025. Go educate yourself before you get on this damn app and start preaching about how you're not going to vote in this upcoming election, because you not voting is even worse. You understand? You are pushing a rhetoric that is dangerous. That is dangerous. Because if you decide to withhold your right to vote, and even if you just don't agree with Biden, go look up Project 2025. Because I guarantee you, as a woman, as a black woman, as a minority, as someone who is in an interracial relationship, as someone who is a small business owner, as someone in the middle class, lower class, anybody, if you do not understand what Project 2025 is, and the way a lot of these Republicans are pushing their agenda, and they have laid it out for you as plain as day in black and white of what they are planning on doing. If they are able to win over our government, have a Republican president, have a Republican dominant Congress and House, like, you need to go educate yourself. Stop getting on this app, running your mouth because you feel some type of way right now with everything that's going on with this Israel and Palestine. And I get it. I feel it too. But stop telling your followers and all of these young people to not go vote. Because if you don't get your ass up and go to these polls next year, guess who will? Every right-wing nut that supports the Trump, that ideology, that supports Project 2025, because they know you're not going to go do it. So we have to stop. And as an influencer with a following as big as all of these followers, these influencers have, baby, you got to be careful what you say on this app. You got to be careful what you are pushing out there, because that rhetoric of, I'm not voting for Biden, I'm not voting for either. What? Then you're just going to allow them to win by default. And when they start implementing all that Project 2025, do not come on this app boo-hooing, crying, talking about this, talking about that, when you start to see your basic human rights get stripped away. And the fact that it's a lot of minorities on this app talking about telling people and telling their followers not to vote, baby, I want to slap all of you. Pay attention. Pay attention. And do your research before you go popping off at the mouth, telling people not to get up and exercise their right to vote. You may not agree with Biden. You may not agree with the Democrats and this and stuff that's going on right now with Palestine. I get it. But do not get on here and tell people not to vote. That is the absolute worst thing you can do. Get it together. Do your research. Click that search bar and go look up Project 2025. And then come back and let's have a conversation about the lesser of two evils.
We will not vote in 2020.
Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of people on my For You page talk about how they're not going to vote in the 2024 election, depending on what candidate is nominated for the party that they vote for. And I wanted to throw my hat in the ring of this conversation because I find the topic to be incredibly interesting. So I have my bachelor's and my master's in political science, and I wrote my thesis on voting behavior of naturalized citizens. And when I was writing my thesis, there was a book that I really liked called Democracy for Realists. And in that book, it was talking about this theory called the folk theory of democracy. And the folk theory of democracy basically states that people view voting as a way to hold elected officials accountable. If the elected official doesn't align with the will of the people, then people will just vote that person out. But the book talks about how that's not actually the case. Like, that's why it's like a folk theory, like a folk tale. And a lot of people at this point would be like, oh, I knew it. Like, my vote doesn't matter, so I should just not vote anyway. Like, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. But really, it's not about who you're voting for. It's about which elections you're voting in. If you go like on Google and research, you'll find that congressional elections have significantly lower voter turnouts than presidential elections. And typically, if there's a high turnout for a congressional election, it's because it coincides with a presidential election. And so people only really care about voting for president and not like their congressmen and women. They don't care about voting for like their state senators and state legislators or even their local governments. Like, think about it. When was the last time you voted for a mayor? Right? So really, it's more about focusing on your local, state, and congressional elections than it is focusing on the presidential election, because the president has power, but not as much power as people think. And because of checks and balances, it matters just as much who you vote in office for Congress than who you vote in office for president. So think about that as election season is coming up. Like, I know that most people I've talked to in my state, like, we have an election coming up literally next week, and most people I talk to in my state don't know that we have an election and they're not going out to vote. Go and vote in your local, state, and congressional elections, even in the years where there isn't a presidential election going on. That will make a change. That will make a difference.
I really don't think Biden has realized that Gen Z is not going to vote for you. You have lost. Like, the Muslim population in the United States is also not going to vote for you. Black people, from the sounds of TikTok and Twitter, are not going to vote for you. Like, you're lost even before your campaign has started. And they kind of panicked a little bit because I saw an article in the New York Times. But you have lost. The way you have dropped the ball on talking about Palestinians and the fact that they hold no value in your eyes. Like, you realize you have lost Gen Z. Like, Gen Z's whole opinion of this whole thing is literally being documented on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All the generations too, by the way. But like, I don't think the Biden administration has realized that, like, you lost severely, and this is not something you can come back from. This will be something that will be studied in documentaries. They'll be like, how did he drop the ball this bad?
I'm not going to vote for Biden in 2024 is maybe one of the most selfish.
So just so everybody knows, Harriet is saying that not voting for Joe Biden in 2024 is the most insane and selfish strategy he's ever seen in politics. So just for context, what Harry is saying in that video is he's talking about a young woman who basically said in 2020 she didn't want to vote for either candidate because she thought they were both bad. However, she thought Joe Biden was the lesser of two evils, so she ended up voting for him. Now, fast forward 3 years, she's looking at what's going on in the world, and she's kind of realizing that was a bad decision, voting for the lesser of two evils. So, in essence, that strategy that you're talking about, that is the most selfish and insane thing you've ever seen in politics, was the same one that 80 million of you employed back in 2020. So you're now having a hissy fit because people on your side of the aisle are doing the exact same thing that you guys did in 2020. They're voting for the lesser of two evils. In 2020, The Democrats saw that as Joe Biden being the lesser of two evils, but now, after seeing the world in complete chaos, some of them, or at least, are rethinking that strategy. And as far as that woman you attacked in your video, good on her for waking up to the reality of the situation we're now all in because of voting for Joe Biden. But as far as you'll just keep taking checks from the DNC, so you'll never change your mind. But hey, listen, at least most of the people in the world are waking up to what's actually happening.
So this is all I got from this video. And sincerely speaking, Harry is taking money from people because all his videos, you all can see that he is campaigning for Joe Biden. Now, let me tell us this. It is very essential to come out and vote, because if not, your vote, because I feel like your vote counts. But number one is, who are we voting for? Who are you voting for? You all already saw what it's, I mean, like, let me ask, is there no better candidate aside from Donald Trump and Biden? Like, are there no other people also coming up for presidential elections and all that? Why is everybody always like, if you are not voting, if you don't vote for Biden, Trump is gonna win and all that? And so, but then all I can say is that number one is that these people are really good at like using fear to like hold especially black people when election comes and all that. And like the first young man spoke, he is very right, because they are always telling black people to get, like, you know, if you don't vote for Biden, I mean, we are going to blame you for not voting for Biden and voting for Trump. But now I am going to say this. I am saying that whoever that is going to treat my own people right is whom we are voting for. Because, I mean, the reparations are long overdue. Like, you know, there is need for them to pay reparations. And I am supporting anybody that is ready to pay reparations to my people, because they have been waiting for that for so long. And also, I am also going to support anybody that we have the interest of my own people at heart, because I am not campaigning for anybody. You all already know that. Because but peradventure there is somebody that I find very interesting that will take care of my people and at the same time pay reparations. Why not? I will put it up here and tell us to let's do what we can do. But for now, I am not even, like, you know, telling you, because Genocide Biden is out there watching people, watching everything going on, watching what is going on in Congress, and what AIPAC and the Jewish Israel are all doing all over the world. Am I saying even only Israel? United States is also part of the people that are disorienting Congo, Sudan, and all that. Now, all of a sudden, I found out this morning that Sweden is also part of the people that are leeching from Congo. So it looks like all of them, all they do is look for a way to find people they will leech on. I keep saying, why are they not leeching on themselves? Because, I mean, it would be amazing to watch. I mean, we sit back and watch them leech on themselves instead of keep leeching on us. So, like I said before, I am not endorsing anybody. I mean, we want somebody that will reform everything. But then you all know that white supremacists cannot be reformed, right? They all the time, like, you know, look for a way to like make black people and other people of color, like, you know, feel guilty or feel bad that if they do not vote for Joe Biden, like, you know, and Trump wins, like the worst is gonna happen and all that. But Trump is all about let's make America great, and I keep saying America was never great for my own people. So how are you gonna make it great again for them? Like, it's more like taking them back to for square one and all that. But I am of the opinion that if there are some other people, you all know better, because you all are in US right now. So you all know better people that are coming up for this presidential election. So I think it is smart to vote wisely and all that. So yeah, and not all these people, all these colored people come out. You know, Harry is collecting money. Harry is collecting money from Joe Biden and his cohorts and all that. So he comes out here as tiny as he is. I think he's just 21 years and all that. And he thinks he can order me around or order any other person around. No, Harry, We ain't taking it. We are going to vote whoever we want to vote. And please, let's not say because like a lot has happened and all that, for that reason, we don't want to come out, because sometimes some people are like that, like, you know, when you have heard it all, you are like, I am not coming out to vote because maybe my vote doesn't count. Your vote really does count. So let's come out and do the right thing. And this is all I got for now. Thank you all so much for all the support. And if you have something you want to say, why not? Say it in the comment section, and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.